I have to show you this video. Ted Cruz went on Newsmax. Now, by the way, his Twitter account is the absolute worst. It's the worst, the worst, the worst. Like I follow him. I don't know why I do that to myself. And I'll see him say, like on a daily basis, I'll see at least one thing that I know is purposefully obtuse.
Mm.
Like he's Ivy League educated. He knows he's being incorrect when he says certain things, and he says it anyway.
Yeah.
And so I'm probably one of the #1 reply guys to Ted Cruz on Twitter. So I'm just like, yeah, 'cause I'm always just like,
I didn't even know that about
like
you.
I'm always like, you absolute moron. No, like I can't help it. He triggers me in a way that very few people can. But he went on Newsmax, and there were some new guidelines that came out from the White House that were like, hey, 2 beers a week really is the maximum, basically for your own health. Like whatever. We have some studies that say when you drink more than that, there's really deleterious consequences. And so they released that, not to say, hey, we're going to ban you from drinking 2 more beers a week.
Right.
Just to be like, hey, by the way, we happen to know that, there will be more health consequence.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the most banal, standard governing stuff you've ever heard in your life.
Okay.
Just like, let me barely look out for my own population and let them know, like, hey, we know this fact. Right?
Okay.
Well, of course, Ted Cruz takes this, misconstrues it, goes on Newsmax, makes a big deal of it because he's so culture war brained. Take a look.
State has now done that for new construction. They're trying to go after and regulate ceiling fans. I got to tell you, it's hot in Texas. We don't want to get rid of our ceiling fans. And now these idiots have come out and said, drink 2 beers a week. That's their guideline. Well, I got to tell you, if they want us to drink 2 beers a week, frankly, they can kiss my ass.
No, okay. Senator, I brought a beer to drink with you. I'll drink this non-alcoholic beer with you because I'm not allowed to drink on camera, but I'll have a sip in the meantime.
Well, look, I got to say, have you ever seen a brand do more damage to itself than Bud Light, which single-handedly seemed to destroy themselves? So I'm glad you're not drinking a Bud Light. Personally, I'm fond of Shiner Bock, which is a good Texas brand. I've been to the Shiner Brewery in Shiner, Texas, and I recommend it. And I promise you, this is not alcohol-free beer down here.
I think what bothers me the most about that is he tries so hard. Like, he tries so hard. He saw when Trump came up in 2015 and 2016 and just blew his boring ass out of the water. And ever since then, he's like desperately like, please, can I have a crumb of relevance? Do you guys like me? I'll do stuff to make you like me. Culture war, culture war, culture war, culture war. Look at me. He's got like 6 Texans behind him. Big old boys with their cowboy hats.
Right.
And they pre-planned the whole thing. Like, we're going to do this really manly thing where we're going to sip the beer. When I say, kiss my ass, everybody sip the beer. And they're all standing there like a bunch of goofballs. And it's like, he's trying to portray this macho, masculine, right-wing kind of guy. And you just come across as the biggest dork on the planet. You are such a tryhard. And how pathetic is it? It's just so pathetic.
Is this what guys do when they're trying to be masculine?
Yeah, they go, I'm gonna go like this.
That looks like a Trump dance move, actually.
No, that's the double jerk off. He jerks off in the air like this. He jerks off 2 guys, left and right.
But it's so perfect because part of why people just instantly loathe Ted Cruz is because you can tell how fake this persona is. That he would be so much better off if he just was like the smarmy, nerdy, Ivy League educated dude that he actually is.
He'd be Paul Ryan.
Yes.
Right?
Like,
and Paul Ryan got sucked off by the media.
yeah, it would be bad. It still would be bad. I'm not going to be, listen, it's just, he has something about him just makes people instantly like, oh. But it would be better, okay, than him trying to be some like Texan tough guy thing that everyone knows is not real. And then it's so awkward, and then he can kind of tell that it's a little awkward, so then he's like, Bud Light, am I right? Like, what's that was a thing, right? We're all related. It's like, ugh, it's just so bad. You know what it reminded me of? Remember the Elizabeth Warren launch video?
Yeah.
With her trying to, like, drink a beer
yeah.
with her, and her husband is, like, trying to escape the like, desperately doesn't want to be in this video and whatever. And it had
she
that
goes,
same energy.
She says, I thank you for being here to her husband. And then Trump later on that day tweeted, my favorite part of the video is when she thanks her husband for being there. He's supposed to be there. It's your house.
And that's the thing is, like, Trump is an ass. Like, Trump never tried to not be a rich businessman. You know what I mean? Like, I was thinking about this with the Iowa State Fair. They all go to the Iowa State Fair and they wear their like flannel shirt, their jeans or whatever, even if they're Ted Cruz. And clearly this is really uncomfortable garb for them. like that was part of what his appeal was and is he's like, no, I wear a suit. I brought my private helicopter. I'm going to give people a ride. I'm going to play into the character that I am. And, you know, that is, I can't stand Donald Trump, but from a political perspective, way more appealing than this really obvious try-hard crap that Ted Cruz is doing.
The thing that I think bugs me the most about this is, like, Ted Cruz knows 100% without a doubt they're not banning you from having more than 2 beers. Right. But he pretends like that's the case.
Right.
And it's like, who are you kidding?
Right.
I get you're trying to throw red meat to your base, but can you do it in a way that at least has a semblance of factual truth to it?
I looked up the ceiling fan thing, too, that he makes reference to there, because I was like, this has got to be bullshit, too. And so, in case you're wondering what the reality is here, apparently there's some new proposed standard that hasn't even been implemented about energy efficiency in ceiling fans that would cut fan-related electricity costs by about 40% relative to the least efficient fans currently available. So that's the idea, is like, we're going to try to get more efficient ceiling fans put in place. But again, it's not like no one's coming to confiscate your ceiling fan. They're all... What he's doing here and what Republicans are doing is, remember the whole gas stove freak out?
I was going to bring that up.
They're trying to recreate the gas stove freak out magic and now be like, they're coming for your ceiling fans and demanding you only drink 2 beers a week.
So I did a deep dive on that because I was like, obviously this isn't happening. What the hell are they talking about?
Right.
And some of the, like, you know, fact-checking sites, Snopes and some others, like, had some articles on it. And the way that they misconstrued that was astonishing, to the point where it was absolutely purposeful. Like, they all knew they were lying when they went with it. Then they probably duped over some regular people. What happened was, it's in, like, coal-fired pizza ovens in particular, which, by the way, only makes up a tiny percentage of the actual pizza ovens, even in New York, right? They were requiring better efficiency standards, where, like, you measure the amount of whatever sort of toxic stuff comes out of there, the microparticles or whatever that goes in your lungs. They required, like, you need to measure that, and you need to get it under a certain amount. And if you don't get it under a certain amount, then we'll work with you to come up with other solutions.
So I think you're thinking of a different dishonest Republican freakout, which was about the pizza ovens.
That's what I'm talking about, yeah.
But there was
you're
a
talking
different
about,
one
the
with the gas stoves. Remember that?
Well, that one they were just mad at science.
Right. It was like, these are actually kind of bad for you, and it'd be better if you have an electric stove. And they were like, how dare you?
Yeah, like, politics totally aside, it was literally just an empirical scientific study that was like, hey, here are the health problems this leads to. Here's the evidence for that. It wasn't like something that's debatable. It's just like, here are the facts, and you do with it whatever you want, but here are the facts. And they pretended like Biden, you know, Emperor Biden woke up the next day and said, we are banning all gas stoves, which obviously he didn't do.
Like, jackbooted government thugs were going to come into your kitchen and confiscate your stove or whatever.
But the pizza one, I'm going to plug the segment I did at the time.
Yeah.
I think DeSantis brought it up or something, and so I covered, it's like, type in DeSantis pizza oven or something, secular talk, and then you could watch the whole video where I break the whole thing down. But it was so immensely dishonest. I guess what I'm amazed by is how much these people overreach, and they think they can get away with it.
They can.
You know? Well, only because Fox News will repeat these things over and over.
They have a whole media ecosystem.
But then they dupe grandmas and grandpas over the country. But it's like, it's only them who are falling for it. There's no millennial, no Gen Z person, very few Gen X people who are going to watch that and be like, yeah, that's right. It's that 20% of the country that's, like, still with Trump that's falling for all of that nonsense.
Yeah.
Nobody else is falling for it.
Yeah, but, you know, when they're thinking about just like, well, how do I win a primary, or how do I get, it's not even about like elected office. It's really about like, how do I get a bunch of likes and retweets on Twitter or wherever? Or how do I get clout? How do I get my next Fox News media appearance or my next like Daily Wire invite? This is the stuff that sells. So
yeah, just lie. Let's just lie.
Let's just make up some kind of manufactured freak out over whatever.
Yeah. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.